Welcome to the world's most fabulous people series. I'm your host today, Tonya Hofmann, and I'm so excited to introduce you to another incredibly fabulous person that I just adore, and I know you will too. And his name is Michael Boles. Hey, Michael.
Hey, Tonya, how you doing today?
Good.
Great. It's so good to see you.
I know. It's so wonderful to have you on the show.
Well, I've been looking forward to it all week.
Yay! So tell us, Michael, about how amazing is it to be that fabulous?
It is rather gut-wrenching because I've never really seen myself in a fabulous role. I've seen myself as just a guy trying to get through the world, and the nature of my work was to help other people, which to be of service is wonderful. In looking back, I'm not trying to promote myself here, but looking back at the people I know I've helped because they've told me, it feels mighty good. It
Nice.
just is a wonderful thing to be of service and to help other people get to where they want to go. And I do realize that I know a lot of what I know because I failed a lot of times. And you just get back up and keep going.
Right, I
Where
know.
the options are terrible. So you got to keep going.
And a lot of it, I think it really is about being of service to others. And I know from just the people that I know that know you, you always have this great reputation for just caring. But have you always been this fabulous? I mean, were you just popped out like that?
Well, in my dreams, in my youth, I was fantastic. But environment being what it is, the journey from childhood to adulthood, and it seems so serious at every moment. I talked to a young girl last night. She was 14, and she was in love with this older boy, 15. So, and it was so serious to her. And at first I wanted to say, oh, come on, grow up. And then I realized, at 14, you're not growing up. And you're having these wonderful feelings for the first time. And they seem like they're going to be forever. And so I realized I had to change my whole approach. And I let her talk. And when she was done, she said, I'm being kind of silly. And I said, I don't know, are you? And she said, yeah. She says, it's just a guy. And she says, there's a lot of them out there. And I said, yeah, go talk to all of them. Have some fun. And she, well, I don't know if my folks will let me have that much fun. But she's just a young woman in the process of growing up like young men are. And they got to try it. They got to try life. I think one of the unfortunate things in our society is that we somehow are not letting a lot of our young people grow up. And so they go into their 20s, even their 30s, 40s, and not really know what's happening. Yeah. I was an angry young man. I did not like my home. I always tried to dream that it was different than it was. Were my hardships worse than somebody else's? Worse than some, but better than others. So, looking back, but when you're going through something, that's all you see. You don't have this world vision. And I've been married a couple times, and I want to say the beginnings of those marriages were fabulous. The endings were slightly less. But it wasn't until the second one was over that I began to learn that, hey, it's not where I've been. It's about where I'm going. And how I'm going to take charge of where I'm going is to do something here in the now, in the present. The past was just a learning. Everybody's 5 years old, 15 years old, 20 years old. Big deal. Everyone does it.
Right.
And you can't be expected at 18 to have the wisdom of a 40-year-old. It's not going to happen. You can be pretty smart for 18, though. So anyway, it's I think it's a letting go. I remember a passage from Galatians 5:1, and I'll paraphrase it. And the Lord said, let go of the past. Let go of the burdens. Don't be held back. And every time I'm held back, something in law of attraction we call resistance. I'm resisting my future. I'm holding on to something that was of great value to me when I was 11, maybe, of no value at whatever particular age I am now. It doesn't help me.
Yeah.
So I'm attempting as best I can to live my life the way I think God wanted me to live it. And that is to make correct choices, to know that I don't always make correct choices, but to change them when I find out they're wrong. It's not just for my good, but for the good of everyone that I meet.
That's
We all
awesome.
influence each other. We can't make each other do anything, but we could sure, push it in the direction we want it to go. But they will decide if they want to go with us or not.
Right.
I think that was the biggest lesson, to be able to look a boss in the eye and say, I don't like the way you run the company. It's not me. Adios. To hear a girlfriend say, oh, you're the wonderful guy, but you know what? I don't like you that much. I love you a whole lot, but I'm not in love with you. And of course, if you think you're in love with that person, it goes boom. And to let people be who they are, respect who they are, appreciate who they are, and do the same for yourself.
So do you have a couple fabulous tips that you would like to share with us today?
I've got about 400 if you have a moment.
No, let's just do 2, okay, Michael?
I would say, at the base of everything, and to repeat what a lot of people listening already know, is whenever you get whammied by something, take a deep breath. Take 2, 3, 4, whatever you need to bring yourself down a bit. Whatever news you're getting, hopefully is not the worst news you could possibly get, even though it can seem very bad. You lost your job, you lost, a friend or something, money, what have you. We need to calm ourselves down, because the human core reaction when anything goes wrong, whether it be physical, emotional, or mental, is we freak out. We go on guard. We protect ourselves. We say and do things that just almost automatic. I touched a very good friend of my arm on his shoulder, and I says, hey, and he about hit me in the face. He says, oh, I'm sorry. And I says, yeah, I'm glad you quit. You stopped when you did. He said it was just a reaction. Finding out a few years later in a conversation with him, he said his stepfather used to come up and grab him by the shoulder and slap him around. And I thought, wow. But for an instance, he had no control. It was reflex action. So we're going to have a reflex action, but to recognize what it is when the gut tightens up and we feel the fear run through our bodies, to take that deep breath. That in itself, physiologically, medically proven, will slow your heart rate down, will slow your reaction rate down, will keep you in charge of yourself. Can you still defend yourself if you need to? Sure you can, probably better. I remember the big fight with Mike Tyson and another fighter, and Holyfield, and Mike got kind of ticked off. So he bit Holyfield's ear, bit a piece off, and he lost the fight. Now, had he stayed calm, which he was trained to do, he wouldn't have done that. Would he have won or lost the fight? Who knows? But when you go against the rules, whether it be a man-made rule or a rule of God or Mother Nature, it seems to me there's going to be a penalty. Something's going to happen. So I think we can go on and on from that deep breath, but I think if people would practice that deep breath, whether it be on just taking a deep breath or doing something more functional, like perhaps yoga or meditation of some kind, I think that works. I think it works terrific. And from there, we can get into changing your point of view, but that's a whole other subject. I'd like to save that one for another day. So, yeah, folks, practice deep breath. It's real easy. Just bring it in and hold it for a few seconds and let it out. That's the easy way. And you can sign up for classes and pay lots of money, and they're going to teach you the same thing. Maybe I should do that. Nah, I just give it away. So I've had so much success in whenever I use karma, law of attraction, turning things over to God, and pursuing what I want, not just magical thinking, but to actually go out and pursue what I want in life. Do what it takes to get it. If I want a certain job I'm not qualified for, can I dream of having it? Sure. Will I get it? Probably not. But if I get the training necessary to do the work, that gives me credentials of some kind, even at a starting position, I can wind up in the job. A friend of mine is a heart surgeon in Houston. He's thought of a very good. He's only 45 years old and he's making $3-4 grand a year. Not bad for a guy who spent another 14 years in school after high school. He put the time in to get what he wanted. And so many of us can do that, whether you're going to be a car salesman or a mailman or a fantastic guru like yourself. You've got to put the time in. And that's what I call getting prepared to receive. When I prepare myself to receive, I usually do. And a lot of people in law of attraction talk about finding parking places. Never has worked for me. They seem to be full. And then I seem to, as I'm walking in from the distant part of the parking lot, I realize that I'm supposed to be getting exercise. So I'm getting what I need. Sometimes, and one of the things I do in prayer or in a law of attraction work or just wishful thinking is to end it for my higher good and for the higher good of all involved. And when I don't get something, I guess that I wasn't supposed to have it. And that gives me, that makes me very happy. There are rules or laws. We can't play basketball in a football game. It's just not going to work out. We're going to get clobbered. But we can play football in a football game. Let's learn the rules. Let's play by them. Let's have some fun. Someone asked me one time, they said, Michael, you always seem to take the easy way. And I said, no, the easy way is quite hard because I have to give up the hard way. I have to give up the negative. I have to give up, I can't do it attitude. I have to give up everybody's against me. I have to give up all my excuses. That's not easy. So that's basically a lot of my philosophy. And where I try to come from, don't always make it, but do my best to.
Nice, nice. When you start looking at, what most people think, when they see us, they're like, well, everything just comes easy. And I'm like, no. I mean, there's always things that are like, this is just called life. But has there been a moment that was maybe really hard, or maybe it was an embarrassing moment that you learned something really impactful from?
Oh my gosh. My whole life was hard until I came to Texas. I came from California, which is a pretty free state. I was somewhat of a surfer, not real good. I fell down a lot, but it sure was fun. And I was into a lot of things Southern California boys are into. And when I came down to Texas, started a whole new life. And it was here that I decided I will not do anything that I don't enjoy. Up until then, I just took jobs for the payment, the weekly pay. It was always a struggle. Did well in some, did bad in others. But I would say the hard part of my life was letting go of the past, letting go of that resistance, and going, I guess, naked into the world kind of. I've got to learn all over how to behave. For me, that wasn't easy. I had an embarrassing moment. Years ago, I was sitting at a coffee table, And there were, I recall, a couple UT professors, a judge, a lawyer, and some real estate guy that owned half of Austin, and me. And I was sitting there, and I had just started wearing glasses and quit smoking. So I'm trying to get used to the glasses, as I'm holding in my hand now, and trying not to smoke. So we're sitting there having coffee, talking about things, and I picked up my glasses, and like this, I didn't have a pipe, but it was pretty close. And it kind of helped. And I'm listening to everybody, very brilliant people. And this one fellow next to me, UT professor, he looks over at me and he says, "Are those good?" Well, somewhere along the line, I'd received some training that said, don't let anybody get one up on you. So I looked at him with a lot of respect for who he was, but I said, "Yeah, they're really good. You ought to try them sometime." He did not flinch. He looked me back in the eye and he says, "Well, I've always wanted to, and I thought I would today, but when I reached for them, you were chewing on my glasses." And I looked down, and here were my glasses over on the other side. And his glasses were in my mouth. So I wiped them, dipped them in water and wiped again, and said, "Thank you, they're a great flavor." And he cracked up, but I felt like I was about an inch tall. It was really hard for me to even look him in the eye after that. So, but we have moments like that, and they all pass. And moments when I have done things, that I was totally embarrassed by in front of other people. I was doing a show. I used to do a lot of hypnosis work, clinical hypnosis work, and I got into doing entertainment shows on stages. And we'd get crowds of anywhere from 50 to 400 or 500 people and put on a show. Well, one of the first shows that I did, I was still very nervous. And I got up in front of this crowd and started doing my spill. And they were cracking up. And finally I said, "Guys, how funny is this? Let me in on it." And a young woman, very attractive young woman in the first row, looked up at me and she says, "Your fly is really open." And I looked down, and so it was. And I said, "I'm hypnotizing you to think that." She said, "No, you're not. It's really open." So I just turned and zipped it up and turned around and said, "There, like magic." But again, it was one of those moments where God removed me from the stage. Take me out of here.
Yeah.
Life is fun. We make mistakes, and we ought to laugh at it. A young man a few weeks ago he called me and he says, "I'm really having trouble with my girlfriend," and I'm very sympathetic to that. And he said, the problem is that she sometimes with her girlfriends, they start mimicking how their boyfriends look during that climatic moment. And they were all laughing, and I was in the room, and they were laughing at me. And he said, "I felt so embarrassed. I just turned and walked out of the room. How could she do this to me?" Well, I didn't know how she could do it because I wasn't talking to her. I wasn't privileged by her. And I said, "Why didn't you laugh at it? Why didn't you join them? It's kind of funny, really." And I said, "I'm almost cracking up." And he thought for a moment. He says, "Yeah, it would have been a lot easier, wouldn't it?" I said, "Yeah. If something's funny, it's funny. Laugh at it. Don't take it home. Don't harbor resentment, because that'll drive a wedge between the two of you. And you don't want that." He's, "Oh, no." I love her tremendously." And I said, "Well, that's good. That's what you're supposed to do. She's going to say and do things that are inappropriate, just like you are." And he thought for a moment. He said, "Well, I have done some very inappropriate things right in front of her family." And I said, "Okay. And she's still with you, right?" "Yeah." "Good deal. You're in good shape."
I love that. Well, we're running up to the edge of the program, so
we're just getting started.
I know, right? I know. You can definitely hold up, we'll have to have a whole, day-long Michael program.
Oh my gosh. I'll bring peanut butter sandwiches.
There you go. There you go. So do you have something fabulous you'd like to offer our incredibly fabulous guest today?
Oh my gosh. There's a couple things I like to offer, but one of the things is absolutely free. I want to say that this is Tuesday. I have it on good word that in 2 more days, it's going to be Thursday. And at noon on Thursday, there's a wonderful place for people who can go to lunch at. It's called Bamboo Garden, First Street and Ben White behind 7-Eleven. There you will meet up with the Law of Attraction people of South Austin. It's a fantastic group of people. There you can learn some things that you want to learn about yourself, maybe about Law of Attraction, how to put karma to work for you. It's a very interesting group of people. We'd love to have people come down and say hi to us, enter the conversation. We want to hear what you've got to say, and be part of the group. And I'll tell you what, if you'll say that you saw the show, I will probably buy you a hot Chinese tea. That's my offer to you.
Nice.
Free Chinese tea and great conversation.
Awesome. All right. So if anyone listening is actually in Austin, Texas, take him up on that and get to know Michael. He's awesome. Well, thank you, Michael, for being on today.
Tonya, it was a great pleasure. I look forward to it, and I sure hope we do this soon.
Yay. All righty, everybody. So, next time we will have another fabulous, incredible guest star that you need to know. So don't just stop here. Get to know these incredible people because they're worth reaching out to. All righty, everyone. We will see you next time. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, everybody.
Bye, Tonya.